You know, almost a year before I wasn't quite that long, but it was a long time before I took Kay out on our first date. God told me I was going to marry her. I hadn't even dated her. Now, when I got that impression from God, God said, "You're going to marry that girl." I immediately doubted it for 4 reasons. One, God had never before or never since spoken to me that clearly. I'm saying never before and never since spoken to me that clearly. Number 2, I wasn't in love with her. 3, she wasn't in love with me. 4, she was in love with another guy. Okay? So, God says, "You're going to marry that girl." I made no attempt to even date her. I just filed it in the back of my mind. Now, I didn't immediately go to her and say, "God's told you to marry me." No, that's beating people over the head. In fact, I never told her that until after we were married, because love is a choice. And you can't beat people. That's not a dating technique. God told you to date me. Okay, God told me to tell you to date me. Yeah, right, okay. No, that doesn't work that way. But God told me that. It was about 6 months later. I had a prayer partner named Danny. And while we were in college, every morning we would get up at 5 a.m. and we would go out to the baseball field of the university we were going to, and we would kneel down in the dugout and we would pray from about 5 a.m. to about 6 a.m. And we did it for an entire year, or the semester, the 9 months of school. And this is about 6 months later. One day we're praying in the morning, and all of a sudden Danny stops, and in the middle of his prayer, he looks over and he goes, "Rick, you may think this is weird, but I just have this impression that you're going to marry Kay Lewis." And I looked at him and said, "Oh, God told me that 6 months ago. Keep praying." Really, and it was just kind of matter of fact, okay? Now, what was God doing there? He was confirming in my heart, yeah, you really did hear from me. You really did hear from me. And God was doing that. Now, that wasn't the confirmation for Kay, that was the confirmation for me, okay? And God had to do whatever he wanted to do in her life. So you gotta be patient and pray. You gotta realize that it's usually gonna be for confirmation. Third thing, write this down. God usually uses you without you being conscious of it.